I'm very quickly going to describe how this guide is set up. The video is split into chapters, you can find them down below. The first chapter will describe the boss fight mechanics and each of the important abilities, and the second chapter will be role-specific duties. The Forgeweaver. This is a two-phase fight with a brief intermission when the boss reaches 100 energy. Phase 1 is keeping orbs away from collectors, the intermission is a DPS race, and Phase 2 is keeping orbs away from a black hole. Phase 1. The boss will begin by activating an Arcane Collector, which will send out a bunch of circles. These need to be avoided. These circles will radiate outwards each time a new collector is activated. The collectors are also shielded, so you can ignore attacking them for now. Astral Harvest is going to target several players, and once this debuff expires, purple orbs will appear where those players were located. These orbs will then start traveling towards the collector, and they need to be burned down ASAP. If they reach the collector, it will deal a big burst of raid damage. Players targeted with Arcane Harvest should position themselves on the opposite side of the boss, angled away from the collector so that the orbs spawned will travel through the boss and be easier to cleave down. They can also be CC'd, so use your abilities to just help keep them away. Silencing Tempest is going to target several players and track them over 3 seconds, so run away from the raid if you're targeted. If you're hit, it's going to deal damage and silence you. Arcane Obliteration is a soak mechanic that targets and tracks the tank, so make sure everyone is grouping up to help split up this damage. An Arcane Echo is spawned in this circle after the soak. This Echo will activate any collectors, causing more circles that you need to avoid, plus he sends out his own attack that will track several players over 3 seconds, silencing them if hit. The raid will quickly want to burn this guy down and then get back onto the boss. Tanks, you're going to want to swap after the soak so that one tank is holding the Echo and the other is holding the boss. Tanks also need to be aware of the boss's overwhelming power ability. This is a stacking 45-second dot. You should taunt after each soak, so the dot should only hit 2 stacks, just keep an eye on it. Phase 1's abilities. Arcane Collector. The boss spawns and activates a collector, which sends out a bunch of circles from its location. Astral Harvest is a 4-second debuff on players that spawns an Arcane Manifestation Orb when it expires. Astral Surge is the punishment for missing one of these orbs. It deals massive raid damage and applies a long dot. Arcane Obliteration is a large soak circle that's on the tank. The raid needs to stack in this to help split up the damage. Silencing Tempest. These are circles that track players for 3 seconds. They deal damage and silence them if hit. Overwhelming Power. This is the tank-related ability that applies a 45-second dot, and it stacks. The Intermission. Once the boss reaches 100 energy, the boss will use Arcane Expulsion, which will knock everyone backwards and trigger the Intermission. The collectors will lose their shield and need to be destroyed before they reach 100 energy. The raid should avoid the middle of the arena as well, as touching the center will deal massive damage to you. The raid will also have to deal with adds that spawn, so tanks need to make sure to pick up these guys and get them grouped up near the collector for cleave damage. The adds will do more damage the longer they are on the same target, so if the damage gets high, tanks do need to swap off. Aside from that, just avoid the ground effects and the beams. Healers need to be aware that damage during the intermission ramps the longer that it lasts. Once all collectors are destroyed, the boss will return to the center of the room and channel a Mana Splinter ability. Once this finishes, the boss takes 100% increased damage for 12 seconds, so pop a Lust here. Phase 1 will then repeat. Phase 2. After the second intermission, or when the boss reaches 25% HP, the boss will create a dark singularity in the back center of the room. This starts the DPS race as the black hole will constantly pull you towards it, and the pull gets stronger over time. Be aware that once he finishes this cast, it knocks everyone backwards, so stay away from his altar, otherwise you could get insta-killed by the black hole. The main mechanic here is just like Phase 1, but with a Void theme. The boss will cast Void Harvest on players, which drops Void orbs when it expires. The raid has to prevent these orbs from reaching the black hole. Tanks will still deal with the overwhelming power debuff, so swap it around 2 to 3 stacks, and the silencing Tempest circles will also continue during this phase. This is also a primary to Lust if you need that extra push. Role-specific duties. Tanks in Phase 1 swap after each Arcane Obliteration and stay still so players can soak. The tank with the Echo ad needs to make sure that they are grouped near the boss for that extra cleave damage. In the intermission, quickly pick up the Shielded Attendants and watch their stacking damage buff. In Phase 2, swap after 2 to 3 stacks of overwhelming power. Make sure you keep the boss near the entrance of the room. Healers in Phase 1 expect a burst of raid damage during the Arcane Obliteration soak, and expect constant pulsing raid damage while collectors are active. During the intermission, expect ramping raid damage the longer that this phase lasts. In Phase 3, expect increasing raid damage as the pull gets stronger. DPS. In Phase 1 and Phase 3, the primary responsibility is to stop the orbs from reaching their destination. Make sure to shift your priority to the Echo ad once it's active. During the intermission, make sure you're cleaving down the ads with the collectors. And that's it! Shout out to these channel members. If this video helped them, press the thumbs up. Subscribe if you enjoy WoW content. Become a channel member for 99 cents a month. It gives you early ad-free access to all my videos. Also, check out my Prefessional merch. I'll see you in the next one.